Hey guys, it's been 8 months until we talked about the state of the game when it comes to Reverse 1999. And now, with the half anniversary coming to an end, with us already having the information about the third anniversary, it is a very good time to talk about the state of the game one more time right now. Now, before we start off, I want to make you aware that some sections of this video will be addressing negative things, so you have been warned. The video will not be all negative. I will also talk about positive stuff. I will in fact start off and end off on a positive note. Let me tell you why Reverse 1999's state of the game will always be very good. There are always multiple reasons as to why you should definitely play this game. Let me talk about that a little bit. First of all, the combat system in Reverse 1999 is on the very top of the food chain. There is no other game on the planet that has such a good and also well balanced turn-based combat system. What are even the games or the franchises that you could name that would in theory rival Reverse 1999 when it comes to its combat system? There is Pokemon, Expedition 33, Honkai Star Rail, and maybe Final Fantasy Ever Crisis. Now, Reverse 1999 takes a curly shit onto all of these franchises that could potentially even rival it. Pokemon is pretty much destroying its complete competitive scene. Like, don't get me wrong, the competitive scene in Pokemon was always absolute rock bottom, full of cheaters, full of hackers, and the top 8 and even world championships pretty much of all time were always hacking and cheating. So the competition there is not truly about how good you are at the actual game, but more about how well you hide your hacking and cheating, and how good you are, how able you are to get away with it. So what Pokemon did with Pokemon Champions is detrimental. They turned their game back to absolute baby mode and took away the very most important parts when it comes to what makes that game actually quite respectable. Then we have Honkai Star Rail, that's an absolute joke, I don't need to dive into there. We have Expedition 33 that is developed by an indie company and not even a full price title, so I don't think I need to tell you like a lot of stuff about that one as well. It's also a game that you play through once. It's not a live service game either, so the game will be already forgotten. No one plays that crap anymore, right? So not a competition either. Final Fantasy Ever Crisis destroyed itself at the first anniversary and is giga pay to win. So yeah, you would be out of your mind playing that game as well. So what's left there? There is nothing. Reverse 1999 is by far the game with the best combat system on the planet when it comes to turn-based combat. Since I have already mentioned balancing right now, there is another thing that makes Reverse 1999 stand out, and it is on top of the food chain when it comes to how well they handle the power creep, aka how well this game is actually balanced. Thanks to the character releases being at a reasonable power level, and we get Euphoria updates, of course. You can see a very well balanced Euphoria update right here on your screen. And we have a whole bunch of other Euphoria updates that always make characters that are not holding up to the challenge anymore be able to hold up to the challenge again, and often even be in like the very top tier teams in the entire game. So older characters will see the light of day again on a pretty reasonable pace, and yeah, quite quickly. You know, there is a lot of characters in the metagame that you can play. The metagame in Reverse 1999 is always pretty huge. Even some replaceable options are there as well, in case you wouldn't have like the true best in slots for your team. You can name Corvus, Brumé, Spathodea, and so on and so forth. Then the characters that are newly gonna be released, there are always characters that can be completely skipped, like right now with Ramona, for example. You know, that's pretty much a must skip. You could have easily skipped the entire Afterglow archetype and therefore skip the second character that comes out next version with Lawrence Butterfly. There's always characters you can skip, there are always versions that you can completely skip, and that leads to us free-to-play players being able to save up resources to always keep up with the metagame. It's super free-to-play friendly, and the power creep in this game is an absolute peak when it comes to how Blue Poch handles that. Again, no other game on the planet does hold up to how well balanced Reverse 1999 is and how well it handles this power creep. There is only one exception, truly, really, only one exception where you could say they fumbled a little bit when it comes to the power level of releasing a new character, and that is Fatutu. But when I see how the community is not up to par when it comes to IQ, that's the most positive way I can possibly phrase this, then they would even disagree. Most of the community, if not the entire community, disagrees with what I just said about Fatutu. So yeah, I mean, there you go. The point is how well balanced this game is and how well this game handles its power creep and how free-to-play friendly this game is. It's barely even a gacha game. Then there is nothing on the market, nothing on planet Earth that even contests Reverse 1999 in its spot there. So again, like, Reverse 1999 is already peak in two things that are extremely important, you know? Combat system and balancing and power creep handling and being free to play. I mean, to be on top of the very food chain here on the planet in these things, that's a very huge accomplishment, and it will always be, those will always be reasons as to why everyone who at least to some extent enjoys turn-based combat has to play Reverse 1999, or he is missing out like crazy. Then this third thing is that, yeah, you can enjoy the combat system and everything, the whole game, even more when you fall in love with the characters. And the character design in Reverse 1999 is outstanding. There is, again, what other franchises would you even put into rivalry or into comparison to Reverse 1999? What comes to mind there? Final Fantasy maybe? No. One Piece also? No, One Piece comes a little bit closer. You know, the amount of well-designed characters in One Piece is also tremendously huge. But it doesn't hold a candle to what Reverse 1999 actually does with its character design. These characters here, they have voice lines even. The voice acting in this game is so incredibly fantastic. I can almost, for every single character here, give you a voice line, you know? They constantly pop into my head. I use them even on a frequent basis. You know me, precious Aria, or interessante, you know what I mean? Just another shift, you know what I mean? It's, the voice acting in this game is absolutely fantastic, and it gives the characters life and a personality. Everyone is very unique. Look how gorgeous the characters in this game look. Like, it is absolutely mind-blowing just looking at the characters, you know? And not only looking at them, this is not a waifu collector where everyone is female and has huge tits or anything. It's the exact opposite, how the female characters here are treated. They're all so beautiful and so cute, full of life and personality. Nothing holds a candle when it comes to this crap to Reverse 1999. It's by far the best franchise of all time when it comes to character design. And you see, those are reasons that always hold true. Ever since Reverse 1999 got released, these things that I just pointed out, it's just like that, you know. This is why I love Reverse 1999, and that's why I call it one of the best games of all time. Now, with all this praise, the game is not even close to be perfect, and there are things that are very atrocious. I did many rants about this kind of topic that I'm about to address right now in the past already, and the biggest issue is content drought. I will cut it short. I will not babble about this for a very, very long time. Let me just tell you that we are in a half anniversary. We are in an absolute juggernaut of a version in which we completed 2 very brand new teams. Brand new, so many brand new toys we could play around with and have a lot of fun with, and it is the half anniversary. We never get a version that is as huge as this one, where we establish 2 teams, right? It's incredible. And considering that fact especially, and then Bluepaw not giving us any content whatsoever to play around with our teams here at all, that is such a disgustingly brain rot fumble. They are out of their mind to release such brilliant characters, brilliant Euphoria updates, and such amazingly fun to play teams, and then give us no place in which we can actually play these teams. That is crazy to me. Everyone in this game, I know, like, okay, I mean, it is a little bit debatable of what I'm saying here, because for like 95% of the entire community, what I said is not true, because they have the Reveries in the Rain. They can play around with their teams, they can test their teams to absolute limits and learn their teams and figure everything out, right? So yeah, that's the, but the point of this being a problem still holds true. I have beaten the Whirling Wall for like over a year right now. I have no content in which I can play my 2 teams, and this holds true for a very, very small percentage of the community. But guess what, guys? We exist, and we also have to be taken care of. We also want to have fun with the brand new teams. We can't have that in Reveries in the Rain. We can't have this in Tides of Thought either. This is an absolute baby mode. It's piss easy. It is such a chore that it's not fun to play at all. You're gonna go in here, you grab the rewards, and you're never gonna play this gameplay mode again. And then, like, where in the hell do you go? Pre-Storm Protocol, I mean, no, because even if you would enjoy this gameplay mode, you would be very foolish here to not use Dynamo. You just obliterate this gameplay mode with Dynamo and then call it a day. There's no reason to jump into this here with Planned Promptu or to use like your follow-up attack team here. There's simply no reason whatsoever. The same thing holds true for this terribly designed Syndrome of Silence gameplay mode. You're not gonna jump in here with Planned Promptu or with follow-up. You destroy this gameplay mode completely and utterly with Dynamo. You don't use the 2 new teams in this here. And what the hell did they even do with Main's Bulletin? What is this crap, right? It's absolutely incredible. And that is a very, 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 very big problem that this game has. You build yourself new teams, you pull for the characters, you deck them out, and you simply don't have a fun way and a reasonable way to play with these teams. And it is like this, as I just mentioned with the Reverse1999, I've beaten this gameplay mode for like a year now. In the moment where we are heading into the 3rd anniversary, where this mode still didn't see any updates whatsoever, it's been over a year without me being able to play the Reverse, right? It's really frustrating. It's really frustrating. And it leads me straight into another point, because we are somewhat, like the state of the game here is somewhat in a scary spot, because I just told you why this game is very stagnant. There's no content, you know what I mean? And it would be fine still, because we have these fantastic things that I talked about in the beginning. It would be fine to walk this path forever. Reverse would not die like that. It's still on top of the food chain in so many important things, and it blows other games out of the water. Still, even with all of this content drought and us not being able to play our new characters and our new teams. But the thing that is scary about thinking about this kind of stuff is that not only does this game does not get developed into a better direction. The game is not developed into a direction in which the game could get better. You know, they always, even, you know, don't get me wrong, like the developers, they are aware of the issues and they try to fix them, you know. They are aware of how important of a gameplay mode a series of tasks is. That's why they try to rework it and give us the syndrome of silence. Unfortunately, they hardcore failed. They realized that, oh, this is maybe also not it, we need more. Then they give us Pre-Storm Protocol, which very soon will become a permanent gameplay mode, so that we permanently have something to play if we want to. Unfortunately, yeah, this gameplay mode has become better right now compared to how it was initially released, but it is not enough. This is still pretty much completely unplayable, and it is hardcore unbalanced. It's not fun at all for anyone, you know. And not only that, look, not only are the developers aware of these issues, that we need a roguelike gameplay mode and things that need to become better, they know this, they just fumble upon it. But not only that, we have existing things, like for example Main's Bulletin, that got completely destroyed. Like, Main's Bulletin was always since its release 100% completely irrelevant dogshit, yeah? But they managed to make this completely irrelevant dogshit worse, which that is a crazy accomplishment. They turned something completely irrelevant into a disgusting chore. That's, I mean, it deserves some standing ovations and applause, honestly. Incredibly shitty job here. Mind-blowing, actually, if I really think about it. And this is not the only thing. Look, we had the Voyages of Volatility, which, yeah, also needed work, was like not peak content or anything like that. But again, they took this, which no one complained about, and everyone was fine with the Voyages of Volatility. Yet, Bluepoch is like, oh, people are not complaining about this? They are fine with this? No. Let's remove this completely for no reason whatsoever and put in another absolute unfun, disgusting chore that everyone will hate. Why? How? I don't know. Don't ask me. But you know, these things are the point. They are manifesting the point that I want to tell you about. Is not only is the game stagnant, and the development of making this game better does not exist, but it gets worse when it comes to the development cycle, as they take things away from us that are fine, like the Voyages of Volatility and Give Us a Shore. They make something that was always completely irrelevant. It could have just been there on the sidelines, but no, they decide to turn this one into a shore that everyone hates as well. And that's what I meant when I said it's kinda scary. The state of the game is in a scary state, yeah, because the game does not get better, which would be fine, it's good enough, but it gets worse. And with these things being out of the way, there is some hope left though. The development cycle could theoretically improve, because if we look at version 3.6, we will see a new in-game gameplay mode. At least that's what they call them here. It is called Focused Flashback, and it will give us every single version, it seems, a few stages that are quite tough. This is the new Voyages of Volatility, so to speak. You can see this on your screen. They give us a bunch of stages here that are said to be quite challenging. And this is for the veterans. This is for people that have established very, very strong teams and somewhat at least play the metagame. So we gotta wait and see if, first of all, how good or bad this gameplay mode exactly is. We gotta get our hands onto this in the global version to fully grasp how good or bad this truly is. Yeah, we cannot listen to any other people's opinions because they're always out of their mind, you know. So there is some hope. This will definitely guaranteed be a good thing if we get stages like this every single version. If this would then disappear, like for example we get this in version 3.6 and then in 3.7 and in 4.0, we don't see this anymore and we always have to wait, that would be shit. But having a few stages like this every single version, that would be good no matter what, because it is a challenge and it is a way to play the new characters and test your new teams in a very solid environment at least. And from the looks of things, right, if we hop into version 3.7, there is also a focused flashback right here. We can only pray that those are actually different stages and that this continues to be the case. In version, like after the 3rd anniversary, in version 4.0, excuse me, there has to be new stages in this very gameplay mode as well. Not every single stage always has to be perfectly well designed and yada yada. It doesn't have to be perfect, but if this returns every single version from version 3.6 and onwards, that is definitely something to be excited about and something to look forward to. I'm definitely doing this and I'm praying this is permanent and they give us every single version at least 3 new stages, like it was with the Voyages of Volatility. That would make me very, very happy indeed. And remember when I talked to you about the roguelike mode that is so desperately needed? They had it with a Series of Dusk, it was shit. They tried to rework it with a Syndrome of Silence, is shit. Pre-Storm Protocol is now also permanent, but also not really what we are all asking for. And then guess what? In the 3rd anniversary, we get a new roguelike gameplay mode here one more time. This is another attempt to give the game what the game actually needs. You know what I mean? We need a good roguelike gameplay mode that is very, very fun to play for people that if they want to play this game, they can. It cannot be the case that we log in and there is simply never anything to do. You know what I mean? That's why. That's the reason why we need a grindable something like anything grindable, and the roguelike gameplay mode would be a very good thing to have for this exact reason. And you can see, right, that the developers are aware of the issues and they are working and they are trying their hardest over and over and over again to address and fix these issues. They just always fumble. So let's come together and play and pray for the focused flashback, and pray for this one here as well, for it to be good, to be better, to be something exciting and somewhat, at least, fun to play. And that's all I wanted to talk about. So let's make a final statement here. What is it, or in what state is Reverse 1999 currently in? It's very good, I would say. It's very, very solid. Like, you know, the only problem that this game has is the content. That I got a bunch of new characters this version, and I cannot take them anywhere. That's literally the only problem that this game has. I need endgame content, which they attempt to give me with the focus flashback. This game needs a roguelike mode. They attempt this in the 3rd anniversary one more time. So, I mean, let's wait and see. Other than that, I think the game is, yeah, fantastic for the reasons that I mentioned at the beginning. There's nothing to truly complain about when it comes to this game, other than missing endgame content, or like content at all for that matter. I have a question for you guys, by the way. There are things here like the Musae's Arcade, this gameplay here that is attached to the characters always. There's Pre-Storm Protocol, there is the Syndrome of Silence, yeah, maybe even Main's Bulletin. I mean, that one is rough though. My question is though, is there any content in this game that you play for fun? Is there a gameplay mode that you default to have fun? For me, yeah, next version there is Critter Crash that is coming back. I love Critter Crash with a passion. I liked the Musae's Arcade. I think, in my opinion, the Pre-Storm Protocol has gotten better. This version I played it a little bit more than ever before. So, yeah. But I don't know where, I don't have this default content, you know? When I log in and I ask myself, and I want to play this game, and I ask myself, where do I go? I don't have a place. And that's a very, very big issue that I have with this game. That's the only big issue I have with the game, if I'm being honest. But let me know about, and let me hear about what you think about all of this stuff. What do you like about Reverse 1999, and what do you dislike about Reverse 1999? Hope to hear about this kind of topic from you in the comment section down below. But that's it from me for today. I hope that video was fun and informative. If you like Reverse 1999 content in general, please consider leaving a follow on my channel. I would really appreciate it. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and we love this game.